My listening friend, wherever you are, I will make two observations before I actually get into the message for today. Observation one, which perhaps you have already made, 2026 is moving very, very quickly. As I make this recording, it is actually March 19. We're moving toward the end of March, toward the end of the first quarter of this new year. If there's some decision you need to make for Christ, make it, because time will pass you by. The second thing I need to mention is that I am doing this recording under less than optimal circumstances. And so you may detect that in the quality of the recording, but I can only do the best I can under the circumstances where I am at present on an assignment. Having said that, let me now get into the message. By the way, before I get into the message, those of you who have not yet included me in your contact list, please, I appeal to you again, do that so I do not get into trouble with WhatsApp. No one likes to be accused of being immoral, but the simple fact is that if you're always late for work and yet you accept a full salary, you are guilty of stealing, and that is an act of immorality. We have individual ways of looking at right and wrong that tend to soothe our consciences. The simple fact is that a vast amount of Christians are actually practitioners of immorality. Why do I say that? Let me explain immediately. The Ten Commandments are considered a moral law, a moral code. One thing that differentiated the Hebrew God from the surrounding gods is that the Hebrew God was a moral being, a being who had standards of right and wrong. The Hebrew God, I say, the God of heaven and earth, was and remains a moral God. And that separated him from the gods of the surrounding nations. I was saying earlier that a vast amount of Christianity actually practice immorality in the sense that they violate the commandment which says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. All 10 commandments are moral statements. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, commandment 1, that's a moral statement. And to have another God before God is to practice immorality, because the entire Decalogue, the entire 10 commandments are a moral code. And so Sabbath breaking is an act of immorality. But the average Sabbath breaker would take offense if he or she were to be accused of immorality. Being disobedient to your parents is an act of immorality. Worshipping idols is an act of immorality. And so my message to you today is to take a look at your life. Would you be pleased if someone accused you of consistently immoral behavior? Of course you'd be displeased. You'd take umbrage at such an accusation. Well, look a little closely at yourself. This is what you're doing. Anyone who willfully violates God's commandment, any one of the 10, but today I'm focusing as always on the fourth. He or she who willfully violates the fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, is practicing immorality. And immorality disqualifies every single person for a place in God's coming kingdom. My dear friend, I appeal to you in the name of the Savior whom you love, in the name of the one who shed his blood that you might be saved into his kingdom. Ask for that power from above to put an end to the immoral behavior of Sabbath breaking. I say again, the immoral behavior of Sabbath breaking. Give this serious thought, because I'm sure you view yourself as a highly moral person. In the eyes of God, a moral person is one who lives in harmony with the entire 10 Commandment Code. May the Lord bless you as you, through the Spirit, keep the Sabbath holy, or as you, under the prompting of the Spirit, make a decision to obey that commandment. God bless you. Doubly bless your lovely children. Happy Sabbath.